And next, we'll recognize Mr. English for his testimony.
Thank you very much. And
Microphone as well, please.
thank you to
The button. Is it on?
button.
There you go. Thanks, sir.
Thank you. The why am I here today is a question. I've been involved in all of the boxing reform movements since the original Boxing Health and Safety Act. Very involved, to the extent of working with the staff of John McCain in both acts to help draft them. Now, I'm going to be the minority here. I am glad that Congress is taking a new look, because there are things that should be corrected and modified. But this act is not the way to go. What the real purpose of this act is, in addition to the things that Lonnie Ali said, when they're all good, and I'm all in favor of that. I have them down on my little pad here, is to give a monopoly power, or attempt to give a monopoly power, to a particular UBO, which is Zuffa. Most boxers who, through their organizations and individually, are opposed to this act. Nobody, to my knowledge, has gathered them together to speak as they have before the ABC, before the California Athletic Commission, and many other places. When it became known that I was going to testify today, I was deluged with folks that said, make sure they ask this, make sure they ask that. Well, it's not my role, nor do I have the time to do that. But let me tell you really quickly how the other acts that I've mentioned were generated. There was no one who was a lobbyist who was involved in those acts. There were a group, including John McCain, of people who cared and wanted to help a sport that needed help. So they worked collectively together in a long series of hearings. Sadly, it took years, but it got better. The Muhammad Ali Act, as an example, broke to some extent, not to the extent I would like, a grip of ratings organizations in a way that was very bad. Corrupt is the word that I would choose to use. This bill, unfortunately, takes away some of the guidelines that were so important, particularly in the Muhammad Ali Act. For instance, I have provided written testimony, but just certain things. The firewall provision will not apply to the UBO. That's not helpful to anyone except somebody who wants to control. The next thing of many is that it does not require that positive drug tests be reported as they are now. Right now, they are reported to the local commission, they're reported to the ABC, and of course, through the ABC, to the organization that holds the, long day, that reports results. It's called BoxRec, and it has a contract with the ABC. This bill says, or it goes to those, or the UBO. That's wrong. There has been lots of suspect that results have been held, not reported, or manipulated. That can't be. It is a formula for a problem. I have written testimony. I know you've read it. I'm running out of time here. But I really would like to answer any questions that you have, recognizing that I'm really in the minority of this panel.
Mr. English, thank you so much for joining us. Can you briefly remind us of what the world of boxing looked like before the Ali Act, and what were the conditions and practices that led to the Ali Act?
Repeating, in my view, it was thoroughly corrupt. Ratings were sold. We know that as a fact because there was a conviction as a result of it. There was a coziness, I think I say in my written testimony, between promoters and managers. Now, a manager should have a fiduciary duty to a fighter. Manager meaning anyone who gets a percentage of the fighter's purse, who is not a promoter. That was not the case. We had, and still do, have issues where you have relatives who manage fighters where a promoter has an interest. If you're asking also about the Health and Safety Act, it was a start. It wasn't the completion. There's a lot more that needed to be done, but the biggest thing that happened was the suspension list administered through the ABC into a company called BoxRec. Right now it's BoxRec. It was something else then.
Let me ask you this. If the Revival Act was passed, would Unified Boxing Organization or UBOs be allowed to undertake any of the practices that the Ali Act prohibited?
Yes. One major one is the coziness, I use that word, between managers and the UBO. Whether it's the UFC, Zuffa, or anybody else who may come along. Nobody else exists right now. But I have seen provisions of contracts that require the signing with a, quote, advisor, unquote, for 15% of a boxer's income, it was in a promotional contract. So, and that was an entity that was a Zuffa-related entity. Now that's absolutely prohibited. Now I don't know whether that contract was provisioned on the completion of this bill, but it's there.
Yeah.
That is, I don't know why, but it's there.
Thank